Good morning, everybody. We're going to get into today's markets without much news overnight. Probably the biggest news, and with 3 bullets, is China's stock market set a new record high. Europe, the European Union will not increase its financial aid to Greece for this next debt crisis that's coming no later than June the 5th for Greece. Everybody expects Greece to default. In today's U.S. market, we have the 5-year auction. Now, the yesterday's auction took place at 27.5. If we're going to have a weak auction, it's usually the middle auction, the normal pattern. First auction up, second auction down, third auction sideways to higher. So we're still in a position where the financial uncertainties, the impending default of Greece, probably will add support to treasuries. Risk-off type investments for a great part of the world, but most people don't really fully appreciate, because all we talk about is the stock market, is that over 60% of the world needs income. And that's why the debt market is bigger than the stock market. It's just not as sexy. You don't have much to talk about. You don't get equality. You don't have news shows devoted to the quality of the issues, the debt issues, etc. You just get a real quick recap of what the interest rates happen to be. There's no news scheduled for the United States today. So primary dealer manipulation of the market to move 5-year paper is what we'll face. Now, I think the market, looking at the volume right here, we're looking at a B is going to head a little bit lower. But there's 2 places where I see support. If we look at where the market needs volume, you can see it's pretty consistent across the board. So I think this 13 to 17 is our first buy, but we may have to pay 21s. I don't know about that. We're going to start off trying to buy 13s to 17s and 5s to 9s. On the sell side, 27 to 31, then 3 to 7. So I think we can trade a little bit lower. I'm not sure we can get through 20. I think we've got a fair chance of supporting that, of getting that at least to 20. So we may have a buy at 21, but you can see where the market needs volume. And it's 16 to 23 is where it needs it. And so we'll play for that this morning, structure-wise. Hope y'all had a great evening. The rain's finally stopped in Wichita. Needed or dry out, but we don't have near the problems that they have down in Texas. So we've had 11 inches over the month, really over about the last 2.5 weeks. I think Houston got 11 inches like within 12 hours, and I mean I can't even imagine that much rain. And I've been in some pretty rainy spots passing through, but that would be a lot of water to process, and obviously the Houston drainage systems did not process it fast enough. It's too bad. You hate to see that happen to anybody. Water is the most destructive act of God. Flooding, much more so than wind and tornadoes, etc. And in hurricanes, the damage is not done by the wind. Most of the damage is done by the rising tides or the water, the backwash from it. Okay, looking at the 30-year, we've got this breakout from 05. And again, you can see we've got this B pattern. The knob spread came in about 9:30 seconds overnight. So our first little band of support down here is this breakout from 17. So we'll make 13 to 17 buy 1. And then we'll make 1 to 5 buy 2. Playing for this breakout down here. We're just going to lean against where the market did actually break out. On the sell side, 31s to 3s. And if we go higher, 11s to 15s. Let them get stops up above this. So we're pretty, again, our number 2 points on the bond are necessarily wider because of the volatility in this contract. I mean, it does move 1.5 to 2 points a day, and it can blow through support quickly. Same problem we have in the 10-year is support at 20 or is it support at 16. We're going to play for the support being at 16, but again, it may take 21s to get into this contract. Don't know. I put an interesting article into the room. That was my first post this morning on the effect of QE, quantitative easing programs, on the price of gold. And the article is pretty bearish on gold because it's a non-productive asset. And if growth, and that's a pretty big if, returns to the world's economy this year and next year, then the outlook or the forecast for gold prices is to be lower because gold is a non-productive asset. What I see, and again, just pretty much across the board, is that people are going to have some gold or silver in case things really, really get bad. And I don't think that changes, and that's why the market finds buyers on every break. Okay, we got some volume at 82. We got a low volume number at 83. We've got a couple of distributions here. The market is pointed lower, so we'll make 80, 82 buy one. And our 75 to 77 buy two. On the sell side, 89 to 91. And then 94, 96. But you put it all together, the pattern and structure is definitely a B. And that should take prices lower. So the sell areas are easier to ascertain or figure out than where the buy areas are going to be. If a market's selling, where do I buy it? If a market is rallying, where do I sell it? That's always a tougher question. Okay, Europe's actually pretty quiet given the fact that everybody expects Greece to default and not make payments by June the 5th. The market is still selling, so the 108.50 area, this is where support is, 50 to 60, that is buy one. 25 plus or minus will be buy two. 75s and 25s seem to do to hold pretty well. Last rotate stopped at 90, so 90 to the buck is sell one. And then sell two is going to be 20 to 30. There is no easy way for Europe on this. If they bite the bullet and let Greece, cut Greece loose, they have to pay immediately. And I mean, the shock to the banking system will be big. And the European Central Bank will have to step up the plate and supply any and all liquidity. And I imagine if it's like last time, our Fed will be involved in that too. In fact, almost over half of the support that the United States threw into our banking crisis in 2008 went to overseas banks and entities that were pressed, hard pressed to keep their doors open. So there'll be the same situation. If they can delay it and do it in an orderly fashion over 5 to 10 years, which is, I think, is where this ends up, then they can spread the cost out over 5 to 7 years as opposed to now. And the politicians in Brussels and all the capitals of the EU will be trying to kick the can down the road and spread it out for as long as possible in the hopes that growth will eventually bail them out. Okay, crude oil could not get through 59 last night. We were trying to sell against 59. We've got 57.50 to 75. That's where support is. Then the next support will be at 57. We pulled that off the F1 screen yesterday. On the sell side, we're at 08, so this 25 to 50, very, very aggressive. Sell one. I mean, you'd want, that's the area we get short in right off the bat, and then if we don't break or get new lows, or we don't get immediate gratification, we come out of that trade. But that's where resistance is. Big market can move quickly, can trade 100, 200 ticks during a day. So it's this is that first sell, very, very aggressive. It's where resistance is right now, but it does have to develop quickly for day traders. If you're a long-term player, probably doesn't make a hell of a lot of difference as the market is pointed lower. And to the Emini. Normally after a trend day, the market pauses and it's going to look for where resistance might be. So we've had reasonable buying. We got a pretty square distribution, as you can see right here. And we have this spill from 2110, this area right here. Then we have the spill from 15. So 10 to 15 is resistance. I think they can get stops above the overnight session. So 9 to 11 is sell 1. 14 to 16, sell 2. And you can see that the 15 area will have a lot more structural resistance than the 10 area will. We've got these 5 letter C's right here that constitute that resistance. So I think they're going to get stops above the overnight session. How much above that they can go, I don't know. 2100, 2102 is buy 1. And this is off the idea that we got a pause day today after yesterday's heavy selling. Now, recent history, we get one day of selling, then the market roars back. So we've got to be very cautious. We cannot let, you can't get steamrolled if short. And we'll get our clues as to if that's a possibility today off the 50 lot trader. Okay, it'll take about 20 minutes to get everything posted. I'm going to get busy on that. I will see you as soon as possible.